So guys, for this video today, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of my fights from Pan Ams. Going into this competition, I knew it would be a really big test for me, knowing that it was my first major competition at brown belt, and I'd be facing a lot of tough competition, knowing that I was just coming from the purple belt, and most of the guys in the division that I was facing were people that had already had a lot of accomplishments in the brown belt already. So I knew that they would be confident as well. And I was excited to test myself against these people. I was able to have, I had 4 submissions out of my 5 fights. Of course, the goal is always to finish every fight. But this is why I like to do these breakdowns, so I can come back and look at the mistakes that I was making that didn't allow me to get the submissions in one of those fights, and if there were any other adjustments I could have made in the other fights that I was able to get the submission in. So even if you're coming back with a win, I think it's always good to sit down and look at what can be improved so that you can get closer and closer to your fullest potential for the next competition. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and we'll go through the fights one by one. We'll start with the first 3 now, and then I'll work to my semifinals and finals later on. And most of these guys that I'm facing in these first 3 matches are people that I've never faced before. So with this first guy, I'd never fought him before as well, and I decided to let him pull guard and show more of my top game and my passing. You'll see here that I get all the way to the side, and he puts me in a weird position where, let me go back. You'll see that as soon as I hit the side control on this pass here, he makes like a toe hold grip from bottom side control. So I kind of had to improvise in this scenario, and I did like a back step over top and just switch the other side. So here, I roll all the way through, and then now he's all the way sideways, and I use this to start taking his back and threatening the seat belt. So here I finally got to the back take and was able to place 1 hook in. And anytime I'm trying to take my partner's back and I feel that they're either defending the hook or defending the neck, I know that one of them is always going to be available. So he was defending the hook in this scenario. So I had to start using a rear naked choke across his chin to force him to start defending with both hands on my choking hand, so I could start placing the hooks in. Once I felt that I'd already scored the points and could start looking for the submission, I start kicking him off, and we'll see here. I kick him off and escape one of the hooks, and I do this so that I can start coming up on one of my knees, moving up higher on his shoulders, and then lean back for the collar choke. For my next opponent, I kind of got a good idea of what his style was going to be because I saw one of his previous matches right before I came into this fight. And I saw that he was playing on bottom, but had a good sweeping game and had a good base once he came up on top. So knowing that, I tried to go into this match pulling guard first so I could get ahead on the points. And you'll see here that I use a lot of X guard, and to get to the X guard, I'm using collar and pants. And once I get on top, you'll see that he tries to scramble, and he makes this mistake of coming back up to his feet. So I've already scored the points at this point. He comes up for a takedown, and I use this to counter with an arm drag and pop back up to my feet. And knowing this, I know that the rule is that if my partner is on the feet for more than 3 seconds, then he's considered a standing opponent. So once I put him back down, I knew I'd just get another 2 points. And we'll see here. This is a technique that I've been working on a lot lately, and something that Professor Guy has been trying to help me implement to my game. And here, as soon as I come up on top, you'll see that I use a leg drag. I throw my partner's leg, and I duck my head to the other side of his leg. Now, once I've glued myself to the hip, I get to this duck under position where I have the option to come back up in a leg drag. I can start taking the back from here. But because my partner was controlling my pants, this is a technique that I like to use whenever they're blocking my far leg that's using the hook. When they control the pants like this, I can take my hand, reach for my partner's sleeve, and then start pulling him all the way to an armbar. So you'll see here, I use this armbar transition to turn into an omoplata, and this allows me to connect to the back take that I eventually finish the fight with. He starts to lift me in the air. Of course, this isn't the ideal position to be finishing an omoplata. He starts to try to shake me off, and I reach for the far leg and turn this into a leg drag. Once I do come back on top, you'll see how I start sprawling this leg. Here turns into a back attack, and I use the grip on the collar to drag him into me. That exposes the back, and all I have to do is escape my hips and follow him up for the hooks. Similar to the match before, I eventually use the hooks to kick him off to the side, and this time I end up finishing with an Ezekiel rather than the collar choke that I finished in the first fight. This is another one of those techniques that I like to use, because whenever you're on somebody's back and they start putting their back flat on the ground, you kind of land in an arm triangle position, and because it's in the gi, it's a little bit harder to finish that choke sometimes. So I was able to lock in the Ezekiel from there. This third match that I was having was similar to the second, how I'd already seen my opponent compete in the earlier rounds of the bracket. And this one I was open to playing top from right away, but I saw that he wasn't going to pull. So I ended up pulling, and again used this same strategy of getting to the X guard to start exposing submissions and back takes. So you'll see that I shot for a triangle, he escapes, and then I go right back to that same style of getting underneath my opponent. I start lifting him up with hooks, and then start using this waiter back take to come out the back. And this position is something that I've been working on for a while, just because I think that this is one of the most versatile types of guards to sweep with. Doesn't matter what type of style the person on top is using. If you're able to get to X guard and control double pants, it makes it really hard for the person on top to keep top position. And I was eventually able to get on top, force the pass in the back take, and then finish here with a reverse triangle from the back. This was also my last match that I knew would be before I get to one of the tougher guys in the later rounds of the bracket. This was, I believe, my quarterfinals match, and my semifinal match would be definitely one of the toughest ones in the tournament. I knew the competitor that I was going to be facing in the next round, so with this in mind and knowing that this would be my last match before going in, I wanted to make sure that I was staying warm and I spent as much time as I could on the competition mats just before I get to the semifinals, so that I'm warmed up and I feel good going into the next round. So this fight definitely gave me the confidence I needed to move on to the next round and face somebody at a higher level.